speculation. You guys want to speculate?
Yes, go.
Speculate.
So we will take your submissions. If you want to send us ideas for who says no trade concepts, we will throw these out on the show on Thursdays, and we will not laugh at them. We will entertain these ideas because that's what we're all about here. So Nick on Twitter, and there's a couple of people I saw. Viking Central was putting out some trade scenarios like this, but Nick on Twitter sends us a who says no. DeShaun Watson seems very unhappy in Houston. Clearly, he was unhappy with the Bill O'Brien led regime.
And in fact, there is potential reckless speculation breaking news about that.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Oh, I thought you knew this.
Speculation.
I thought this is why you were doing this.
No.
Pro Football Talk, top story right now.
Oh, my God.
As we speak.
Oh, my God.
The Texans have suggested they will listen to quarterback DeShaun Watson when hiring a coach. But what if they ultimately don't hire the person he'd like to be coached by? Rumors are already circulating, and we've already heard them from multiple different people that Watson has quietly broached with teammates the possibility of requesting a trade.
Bonkers. Oh, my God.
Oh, I thought you were. This is perfect. Reckless speculation.
I swear to God, I did not know that. That's an even better jumping off point for this discussion. So DeShaun Watson, despite how terrible the rest of his team was, in 2020, he was the third overall rated quarterback according to Pro Football Focus. He completed 70% of his passes. He still threw for almost 5,000 yards, although I guess they were behind in a lot of games. So, of course, he's going to rack up yardage. 9 yards per attempt, and he is one of the three most mobile quarterbacks in the NFL. He lost his number one target in DeAndre Hopkins, poorly coached, bad chemistry. That team had so much quit in it. Like they almost got an interim coach fired this year.
J.J. Watt ripped the entire team.
Yes.
By week 14?
And so his contract is an albatross. I mean, he's up there in the $40 million a year range. And so I think, so it's a 2-point question here.
Mm-hmm.
Kirk Cousins was great after the bye week, but I think DeShaun Watson is on a completely different level. They're both good passers. I think Kirk's probably just a little bit more accurate in certain ways, but DeShaun is a 70% completion guy as well and has the mobility to escape pressure and overcome a bad offensive line. What is your level of interest in kicking the tires on this? And then part two,
yes,
what would you give up? And I'll give you a scenario here in a second from Nick. But
okay, I'll go kicking the tires first. 100% I do it. 100%.
Yeah, all four tires I'm kicking.
I think this guy is special.
I'm kicking the spare tire too.
I think that this guy is special. I think that the Texans, now they might come out of this fairly quickly, but I think the Texans have devolved certainly in the last couple of years and this year especially into a toxic atmosphere. But I think in the games I've seen DeShaun Watson, he brings a skill set that I very much considered to be damn near ideal for a quarterback in 2021.
He brings a particular set of skills.
He does. Kirk does not bring that particular set of skills.
I will in the back of the end zone.
I will throw the ball.
I will
to
trade for you.
I will throw the ball to Justin Jefferson, which is what we want. I would kick the tires 1,000%. Yes, there's no question. And the contract is huge, but if I get the guy that can do it and get me to a Super Bowl, that's the point. Yeah. Then I don't care.
Here are your Pro Football Focus 2020 quarterback ratings in order. Aaron Rodgers, number 1. Tom Brady, number 2. I think people just kind of wrote him off, but he was the second highest graded quarterback in the NFL. DeShaun Watson, 3. Pat Mahomes, 4. Now, if you're asking me in what order would I want those guys in a quarterback, like franchise quarterback draft, Pat Mahomes is number 1. DeShaun Watson, because of age and mobility, Josh Allen was 5 on this list, by the way. Russell Wilson, 6. For me, it probably goes like, who would you take for the next 5 years as a franchise quarterback? Pat Mahomes is number 1. Russell Wilson, for me, is probably still number 2. DeShaun Watson might be 3rd for me. Josh Allen might be in the top 3 or 5 now, just based on how
it's incredible.
He was this year. And so I think you have to figure if you're going to pay a quarterback $30 million, like the Vikings are going to pay Kirk this year, and it's a $200 million cap or slightly under.
Yep.
Or you're going to pay DeShaun Watson like $40 million to the cap. Can you win building the rest of your roster with DeShaun Watson? I think he's good enough and mobile enough to where you don't have to have a perfect offensive line. You can get away with paying him that kind of money more than you can get away with paying a Matt Ryan, a Kirk Cousins, et cetera, et
This
cetera.
is an intriguing contract too. So in 2021, his cap is 15.9 million, and the dead money at that point is 67.1. But he is going to be, if he's on your team, your QB, no questions asked, right? 2022, the cap goes up to 40.4 million on the hit, so it's enormous. And he can't be cut because it would be 51.2 million against your cap. But here's where it gets intriguing. By 2023, so 2 years, right? We're talking a cap hit of 42.4 mil, but the dead money plummets to 10.8 mil. By 2024, the cap hit is 34.7 million, but the dead money by 2024 is 5.4.
So that means
so
you
the
can
dead money
restructure it or something.
Exactly right. So those last 2 years, 2023 and 24, it comes way down. And the last year of his contract is 2025. It's 32 million in that year as far as the cap number against the your team, but the dead money by then is 0.
Interesting.
So the contract's basically done. So the point being is the cap hits are huge, but getting out of the contract by 2023 really becomes fairly simple.
I don't think he's the type of guy that you would want to get out from underneath the contract, though.
I'm guessing, yeah.
I think because I think a lot of people, our Purple Daily audience, sometimes we get in these Kirk Cousins fights, and I think one of the main arguments from the pro Kirk Cousins side is, well, are you just saying that you should never pay a quarterback big time money? Are you saying that it was a mistake to give Pat Mahomes that much? No, I'm saying there are certain quarterbacks that are mobile, that are improvisational, that can elevate a team, that can rise above a bad offensive line and all these things, that can win in shootouts, right? That can win late in games. There are certain quarterbacks that are just worth that much money because of how much they bring everything else up. The argument for DeShaun Watson would be, well, look at how bad the Texans have been off and on, and look at how bad they were this year. And I would chalk that up to just organizational incompetence, too much Bill O'Brien power. The Vikings are a much more structurally sound organization.
They gave away DeAndre Hopkins.
Correct.
They gave him away. But this contract is structured in a way that if you weren't happy, it becomes fair. It's a fairly quick out. So it's not a bad contract.
Okay, so here's the trade from Nick on Twitter. Who says no? He's saying give up the number 14 pick this year, a 2022 first-round pick, Kirk, and Danielle Hunter for DeShaun Watson.
I don't know.
That's a lot to give up.
I don't know you'd have to give up
that much.
I
agree.
I think Danielle Hunter, your first-round pick this year, Kirk and another draft pick would do it. I don't think it needs to be 2 first-round picks.
What if you could keep Danielle Hunter? If you thought he was healthy and you could keep Danielle Hunter, of course, now you'd be paying in 2 years.
Yeah,
you'd be paying like $65 million. If Danielle wants a new contract, you'd be paying like $65 million to 2 players. But those are 2 incredibly impactful players. If you could get away with trading your next 2 first-round picks and Kirk for DeShaun Watson, and like they float you back a second or a third-round pick, would you do it?
Oh yeah, definitely.
So this year's first, next year's first.
Next year's first, yeah.
Kirk, in part because of the money.
That's fine.
And then they would give you DeShaun, and they'd float, a third-round pick or a second-round pick.
Yes, I would do that trade.
I think I would do it too.
Yeah, I'm probably in on it.
I think it's a good trade.
I think 2 first-round picks and Danielle is a lot, but at the same time, I
don't think I would do Danielle.
Yeah.
I think, if you did what Phil just said and stripped out Hunter, I think I'd do that trade. Yeah,
because
you know what? I know I'd do that trade.
Because if he's a top 5 because he's showing all the signs of being a top 5 quarterback, he's just in this crap hole organization right now. If he is that and he remains mobile and stays healthy enough for the next 10 years or so, if he's like what Russell Wilson has been with Seattle and he's a leader in all those things, you don't have to be perfect in all the other areas. I mean, Lord knows Seattle has had offensive line problems and their defense has been a sieve for months at a time, and
been
they've
rebuilt,
been injuries to run it. They don't have a franchise running back that stays healthy, and like they win divisions because Russell Wilson just rises above all those things.
Mm-hmm.
And I think DeShaun Watson is one of those guys. And so I would be willing to pay more for that and then figure out the rest later on.
So a 2021 first, a 2022 first, and Kirk.
Yeah.
Yeah, done deal.
Wow. All right, how about this one? Okay. This is from Austin on Twitter. Reckless speculation.
I feel good about that trade.
He says, got a little reckless speculation for you boys. Hearing things that the Dolphins are not sold on Tua for the future. And Tua, I don't know if he's like sourcing this or if he's reading
I think
Football
we've all heard those things. Those of us in the know those things.
Those of us in the know. Big trade idea, okay?
Yeah.
Vikings trade Kirk, and I believe he's saying our first-round pick this season for Tua. It's a lot because you give him a first-round pick and a good quarterback for Tua. The Dolphins turn around and offer the number 3 pick, the Vikings pick, and Kirk Cousins to the Jets or the Jags so they can draft either Lawrence or Fields or somebody else. And so then you'd have like a 3-way trade here. I guess the question is, would you trade for Tua? And what would you trade for Tua?
So wait.
I would not trade a first-round pick for Tua.
His trade is Kirk and my first-round pick for Tua?
Yes, I wouldn't do that.
I don't think I'm doing that, no.
I would trade, if I had a second-round pick, which we don't here, I would trade a second-round pick for Tua.
By the way, if the Dolphins are going to give up on Tua after 1 year and less than a full season of starts, I have serious questions about him now because I don't think that the Dolphins are a dumpster fire currently. So if they've seen enough to bail right now, that concerns me. And that trade that he suggested for Tua is way too rich for my blood. So I'm not saying I wouldn't take Tua because I would, but at that price, no.
Sometimes these first-round quarterbacks, these guys who come in, they're super hyped up and they're top 15 picks or whatever. They're a little bit like when you drive a car off the lot. It's really hard to have the same value.
Yeah.
If you have if you don't have an unbelievable rookie season, like and that's probably an area where you could look to buy low on guys like Sam Darnold. In fact, here's another one for you guys. All right. Reckless speculation. Would you take a flyer? And I get that we're like Kirk Cousins was great after the bye. So we'll just continue down this quarterback path here for a second. Would you take a flyer on Carson Wentz or Sam Darnold as a reclamation
Carson
project?
Wentz, no way. That contract, I ain't getting near that contract. Wow. That contract's a killer.
Darnold, yes.
That's a kill. Yeah.
See, Darnold feels like he's
fine.
Just been completely ruined by the Jets, though. I don't know.
But is he ruined or is his growth stunted but not ruined? That's the question I don't know the answer to.
I would totally take a 5th-round pick flyer on Sam Darnold.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's fine.
They're probably going to want more than that just because
that Carson Wentz contract, my God, I'm not getting near that thing. We talk about Kirk's contract.
Yeah.
At least Kirk produces.
But is it, I think Carson Wentz has the better chance to be,
but
a top 10 quarterback again. At one point, Carson Wentz was an MVP candidate. And so we've seen him play at that level. Sam Darnold, we've never seen him play at that level. He's just been garbage ever since he came in the league, in part because
But do you think he's ruined, or do you think that if he gets a fresh start and is out of the Jets organization, that he could be rehabilitated?
I would lean more toward he's ruined. I would.
Ruined.
I just think there's guys like there was 20 years of Cleveland Browns quarterbacks that doesn't matter. You're just.
I mean, Tim Couch was like
David
that.
Carr with
and Tim
Houston
Couch
back in the early 2000s.
But I don't know. But yeah, Wentz, no way. Darnold, flyer, like Dex said, for sure.
Okay,
I'm fine with that.
Reckless speculation. Every Thursday, we'll take if just tweet us ideas.
DeShaun
at
Watson
Jay
might want out of Houston. DeShaun Watson might want out of Houston.
Dude, like you
They're
have
gonna
to
love this
that.
job.
And I know again we say this, fully acknowledging Kirk Cousins had maybe his best season after the first 5 train wreck games. Like he was really good, but we're not in the business of really good here. Not on Mackey and Judd, not on Purple Daily. We are about Super Bowl championships.
And most teams are always trying to find their next QB, right? Like you're always looking for. You should never rest on. We got our guy. We're fine. It's done.